Zach Wilson looking a little him-ish. How do we fix Cincinnati? And I'm not gonna. At first I was writing. I was like, who's to blame in Cincinnati? And that felt very like talk sports radio. So how do we fix it? How do we turn it to a positive? Bears woes. I don't know how you turn that positive, but it's not all negative. And sky is falling on the show. We have attaboys to dish out. We've got Taylor Lewan joining the show. Very curious to see what he has to say about that Rodney Harrison post-game Chris Jones thing. Mr. 95 getting the crazy bait to shred Zach Wilson. Not today, people. And by the way, go Chiefs. We start there. Taylor Lewan is on the show. Very excited. It was sort of a wild day in the NFL yesterday. I thought we were going to see another Broncos loss. I was a little worried about that. I have not talked to Sean Payton in a while. I'm sure he's like in a cave watching tape, doing all sorts of things, trying to fix what's going on with that squad. But, I mean, we nearly had a stunner last night to cap it all off, right? I get back. I was in the Midwest, the beautiful state of Wisconsin, specifically Appleton, where everybody loves their youth sports more than anything. It was unbelievable. So much soccer, so much stuff going on. But I get back and I'm watching this and I go, oh my gosh, Zach Wilson's going to win this game. The Chiefs hang on for dear life. They take down the Jets 23-20. Kansas City, they have a 17-zip lead in the first quarter. Everything playing out kind of the way everybody on this planet expected it. You got Wolverine, you got the Ant-Man, you got everybody there. It was going to be a nice, easy night for Kansas City, and the Sunday night broadcast was going to start focusing more and more on Taylor Swift. I was picturing a Taylor of the tape. Where was the list of power ranking the great Taylors of all time? Lawrence Taylor, Taylor Lewan, like who's your favorite Taylor? Who has the biggest impact on the NFL of all those people? And then, no, it didn't happen that way. The Jets came storming back, and it looked like something just, and I don't know what it was. It was like, maybe I'll ask Aaron Rodgers about this. Like, what clicked for Zach Wilson? This is a really good Chiefs defense. It's a big game. It's the bright lights. You're down big. And he was so fun to watch. He's just dealing laser after laser. He's locked in. The jokes are being made about Donna Kelsey, the mom stories from the back pages from so long ago. It's all happening. It was so fun. And it was a better storyline to me than anything that was going on the Chiefs side of the fan bases and all of that. Like, Zach Wilson's out there looking confident. The team completely rallied around him. A team that we heard all week was, get rid of him, get somebody else in here. The defense is so mad because they're so good and they can't. No, this was a moment last night in that building. And he did come up short at the end. And at the end, he's talking and he's like, it's my fault I lost the game. And my heart goes out to him. And he shouldered the loss for the game afterwards as well. But he gave Jets fans and teammates some hope that usually gets rejected by this Jets fan base, okay? And we saw a glimpse of the guy that we saw, knew and loved at BYU, and a reason to think that maybe, just maybe, he is turning a corner here. And it's incredible to see. I'll say personally, it was a magical night, came up short. I still need to see him build off of this next week, but all of the beat reporters, the Rich Siminis, everybody said in that locker room after the game, sure, there was accountability and there was this and that, but there was like we can build off of this mentality off of everyone. And so now I'm not convinced that things are all falling apart. And then you got Saleh, like mad, demonstrative as ever on the sideline about that call on Sauce. All of that stuff's going on. And I do think that the Jets team, I hope that they're like blaring and blasting that Rodney Harrison post game with Chris Jones. And Rodney was saying stuff before the game, like he's missing open wide guys, like out there in pregame, which is analysis, and that's great, and that's good to know. But then sort of like that baiting of Chris Jones, which is what it was. It was like, Rodney Harrison's incredible, obviously, but Chris Jones handles himself very well. But I wonder if this Jet squad, Jet side of things, is like, no, we can have you can't talk about our quarterback. Like I wonder if that's like a weirdly galvanizing thing. Former Patriot talking about our current Jets quarterback who willed this team and was dealing for most of the game, okay? So the Chiefs side, of course, they want to hear it. Like I know my nieces are watching this and they're super excited, and my sister, Amanda, tough one for you last night, little herky-jerky. And this just happens with this Chiefs team sometimes. It's why I said I think the Bears have a chance to win the week before, because sometimes the Chiefs just lose focus or something and think it would be easy, and they build this easy lead and the early lead, 17-zip. But, I mean, they're the better team, of course. The Jets defense did step up a little bit. There's probably a little bit of both of those things, but Mahomes a little shaky at times in a way that we haven't really seen from him before. 2 interceptions, both a little ugly. He opens the door for the Jets starts and he says, "Come on in. Why don't you walk on through the metal detector, Taylor, and welcome to Earth?" Like it was just easy peasy. And he threw a third there at the end that was negated by a very questionable penalty that we will be asking Taylor Lewan about. Of course, it seems to happen with our guy Mahomes quite a bit. He gets lucky on these. Like, how many dropped interceptions does he have? Like, there's got to be a staggering stat about that. But he's the GOAT. He's amazing, and he still somehow finds a way to get it done. He makes big plays, with his legs, of course. He ices the game for Kansas City. Pacheco shined as well, 150 on the ground. If you told me that Taylor Swift would be cheering as if she had won the Super Bowl on an Isaiah Pacheco touchdown, I would never imagine it, but she was. She was like, could not be. She's the biggest Pacheco fan in the entire world, and I loved it. And yeah, is there reason to be concerned with Kansas City? I don't know. They somehow do this they do this in these games sometimes. I don't know. They got to clean some stuff up. They know it. Everybody knows it. It's going to cost them some games. I don't know. Some playoff positioning, probably not. So that was last night's game. Your thoughts, guys, at Up and Adam Show on the old YouTube. You guys can hit us up on Twitter as well. The game I was really looking forward to, of course, was Dolphins-Bills. My parlay almost hit. I had 4 legs. The one that didn't hit was Tyreek Hill, 80 receiving yards. I thought it was the Stephon Diggs touchdown that was sort of the winky, wobbly one, but it was Tyreek who couldn't get it done because the Dolphins couldn't get it done, right? The offense was the story of last week. The Bills stole the show on Sunday, and they said, no, not in our AFC East, where Belichick's the worst coach in the AFC East, apparently, if you look at Twitter. It's a 48-20 just routing of Miami, and we got to start with the love for friend of the show, Josh Allen, and the whole Bills offense, because I got to say, this is as sharp as I've ever seen Josh Allen play. Really, 21 of 25, 304 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 of them to Stephon Diggs, who he could not be stopped. Xavier Howard, hello, anyone? Bueller? I thought Josh found the perfect balance of knowing when to take shots, when to push the ball downfield, and when to just take what you had underneath you, kid. And he did it. Listen, roughest possible start ever against the Jets, and I loved this for them because I thought this is going to light a fire under them, and that cover boy with the Marvel girlfriend, like he's going to have a bad loss here, bright light, and that's going to be the best thing for this team, okay? There were all those turnovers last year, but now he's just gotten better and better every week. That's all I want to see. So huge credit to Ken Dorsey for a new approach. Credit to Josh for the discipline in accepting and adapting that new approach. I'm not kidding. This is the best I've ever seen him. And I forgot to mention what he'd done on the ground, too. This touchdown's stupid. What? You can see how much having this type of a performance against the Dolphins meant to him personally. So that's as fired up as I've ever seen him. I don't know if that's like they scored 70 points last week thing, but the Bills scored on 8 separate drives, people, and their only three and out came at the end of the game. So a masterclass performance, best performance of the week, in my opinion, was by Josh Allen and this team. And the defense, by the way, complete win. They gave up scores on the Dolphins' first 2 drives of the game, so I was like, oh, this is going to be quite a game. And then they only allowed 6 points the rest of the game. So Sean McDermott, definitely a more aggressive defensive play caller. That's been huge. And these Bills linebackers and these safeties, they made things really tough for Tua in the middle of the field where he likes to operate. So Dolphin side, what's everyone saying about the Dolphins? Bills made the Dolphins go MIA. All right, that's a cute little Monday joke. Let's see. I can never close these polls. Okay, got it. Bills can't beat the Niners. I don't know. If the Bills play like that, don't tell me they can't beat the Niners. I think that's a game I want to see. Josh Allen will be fumbling again next week. Ernie, go away. We don't want to hear that kind of BS from you, Ernie. We're trying to be positive here. Joseph, is that my suit jacket? Listen, I didn't have quite a long time this morning to figure things out, and this is just what I'm wearing. I want to talk about the Dolphins side. Do you guys have Dolphins takes? Hit me up. We're going to have Taylor Lewan on the show. We're going to get to all of that. Listen, on the Dolphin side of things, I feel like everyone, when anything goes wrong, everyone just puts it on Tua. And I think that that's not super fair. And the offense clearly didn't play its best game, but this loss had a lot to do, and really more to do with the Dolphins' defense than anything else. And if you look back to last year, can't you say the same thing? Like, a lot of the losses were because of the defense. Everything's got to go, especially in that division, especially in the game against the Bills, right? Every time they're on the field, like, with the Dolphins yesterday, hold on, I'm lost in my notes here. You're lost in your notes, I'm lost in my notes. Let's get back on track. Okay. This is the full screen, yes. This is what we want to show you. Okay. When your defense is giving up points like this, take a look at this. And maybe getting Jalen Ramsey back in December will give them a big boost for the stretch run, but all I know is right now they have to play a lot better than yesterday if they're gonna make it in the AFC, okay? I still think they're capable of making it to Vegas. I wanna see them in Vegas, that would be super fun, but there's a lot of work to be done. All right, let's move to Philly. The Commanders gave the Eagles their best shot, okay? Jalen Hurts and the Birds, they powered through what turned into a wild 34-31 overtime situation. Here was Jalen after the game when he was asked about the pressure he felt in such a tight game.
You know, my whole career has kind of been a roller coaster in terms of being in different and unique and unprecedented moments, which you may call pressure. And stormy and that fire, but you know, that's what I was born in.
Your Birds pulled it out, Marissa.
They did.
What'd you make of it? Now you saw the Bears game. Are you?
Was I not right last week? There's some problems in the offense. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
It was pretty.
Well, first of all, a moment for that chain. A moment of silence.
Clap it up for the chain.
For that chain that was unbelievable, Jalen. But I got some goosebumps with the "that's what I was born in." I love him. And it's true. Throughout Jalen's career, going back to Alabama, it seems like every time he's been tested and then doubted and put under duress, that's when he plays his best football. Some people thrive in chaos. There's a lot of research into why that is, and you got to go way back into your life and your childhood and your attachment styles and all of that, your astrological signs, but that. Sometimes people like to be in a corner. The SEC championship game, okay? He goes in for an injured Tua. I mean, heck, he thrived last year in the pressure of the Super Bowl. It was an incredible performance, and he did it again yesterday with the games in the balance. He throws for 319. He throws both of his touchdown passes to A.J. Brown in the second half. He gives the Eagles a lead. He hasn't been, it hasn't been perfect, to Marissa's point, okay? It's not exactly smooth sailing for this offense yet this year, but all you want to do is see them get stronger and stronger and go through adversity each week, a calloused win, all of that. And they're sitting there, they're undefeated. They haven't lost. They're undefeated. They're 4-0. They got the Rams and Jets coming up. We peaked the schedule this week, so we are not worried about the Eagles. Sam Howell, I'm not worried about him either. Yeah, coming off that bloodbath in Buffalo, there's doubt starting to sprout, bubble up, blah, 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 a lot of things in his ear. He balled out with the game on the line. He was so clutch. Are you kidding me? 2-minute drill at the end of regulation. This laser, oh my God, to Jahan Dotson to send the game to overtime. Marissa hated that. She's throwing her shoe at the TV when that happens. And I'm loving it because the clock, zero's on the clock. That's as good as it gets. The throw to McLaurin, that was as good of a ball as you can throw under pressure. So I still think that, by the way, that might have been a catch. Okay, we'll see we're going to ask Taylor Long what he thinks. Either way, I am impressed with the guts, the resilience, the ability to respond under pressure the way Sam Howell did, and even in a loss. The Rivera thing, we'll get to all of that in a bit because right now on the show, we're going to take a quick break. I need a drink of water, and then we are going to have Taylor Lewan. Oh, salute! Talk to me about, I don't even know. You're my favorite Taylor, NFL style. That's all I'll say. My favorite Taylor.
Taylor Lewan, the big fella, in for the touchdown.
Joining us now, the only Taylor that really matters. That's what I say. He's got residency here on Mondays on Up and Adams. Plenty of real estate for our Pro Bowl left tackle for the Tennessee Titans and the co-host of the podcast, Bussin' with the Boys. And it is Spooktober!
Okay, what an intro. What an absolutely incredible intro. And I want you to know, every week we get better and better, right? First week I got things, I got text messages coming left and right. The next week I'm holding my phone for 2 weeks. You mention it. You got to stand. I'm hands-free out here. People are going to come at this, but you need this. You need the little wire. Yeah.
How are you tired?
How are we feeling about Spook?
I know you have.
What?
We'll get to Spooktober. You're traveling, and I know you're doing the PJ life. I was stuck in the back of I was sandwiched in the middle of two babies, crying, two Bears fans, mind you, coming from the Midwest. I'm super tired today. Are you not tired of all this traveling? You were out and about this weekend. Like, how's your life right now?
No, my life, honestly, Kay, if I was to complain, I should be put in jail. I have probably the greatest life of all time. I travel all over the country with my best friend and even the boys that work for us, too. They're fantastic. We get to meet amazing people, see games. We were really on the sidelines for Nebraska, Michigan, which is known fondly as the Bussin' Bowl this weekend. My friend and I made a trophy game together. And we got to, and the two schools, like, literally are like, these idiots. We might as well humor them, right, boys? And they just let it happen. It's the best. It's really the best, dude. It's awesome.
We have a poll up for the favorite definitive best NFL Taylor. Favorite NFL Taylor. You and Lawrence Taylor are at the top. Taylor Swift is only at 17% of the vote. So guys, get them in there for our guy Taylor Lewan. Spooktober, just so I can play along. What are the rules for Spooktober? Embrace Spooktober. Watch something spooky every day. So I could just watch Bears highlights. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. You watch the Bears. So Spooktober, it's very simple, dude. You refer to October as Spooktober. You watch a spooky something every day. It literally could be Halloween Town. It could be like Saw. It doesn't matter, and everything in between. Just a little something to keep yourself in the spirit. The third one is do an event once a week, whether it's getting a pumpkin spice latte, you're going to a haunted house, you're grabbing a pumpkin patch, something like that. And the last one, obviously, is embrace the spook. Because people don't understand. It's not just about Spooktober.
Got it.
It's about giving the tip of the cap. It's the commencement of, hey, here we go into the holiday season, baby. After this, we're gorging ourselves in November, and now we're running into December. And look at that, we're shouting to the rooftops about a fat man who lives in the North Pole, and we're just gonna pray to God we get the best presents ever. Like, it's a beautiful time to round out 2023.
Give me the spook that I'm gonna watch. Give me this week's. Hocus Pocus is to me like a weekly watch during this month, but that's not super. It's kind of spook. Give me this. Give me a spook move, and I'll watch it.
It just depends on what you're into and what really gets your nerves up.
Give me an answer. Like, stop with this. You can just give me and spit it out. Give me one movie.
I'm so bad at that. If I was gonna put anybody on some spooky stuff, it would be the classic slashers, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and the classic Halloween. They're like 80s movies. Scream's great too. Scream's a phenomenal movie. Scream is like, if you were to watch Scream, it's like watching like all the teenage like American Pies and all that stuff with great storylines.
I've never watched it. Little Nev Campbell, little Monica from Friends. Why can't I think of her name?
Yeah. Monica.
Got it. All
name.
right, we'll watch that. All right, let's get into this now. Last night's Chiefs-Jets game, okay? It was very interesting, of course. A lot of cutaways to a lot of Marvel superheroes and a songstress, of course, named Taylor. On the field, though, the Jets... I was watching, I was like, this kid's dealing. He's dealing, okay? He's killing it, going toe-to-toe with the Chiefs. They're down 17-zip. What were your thoughts? Let's start here with this penalty called on Sauce. Did that call cost the Jets this game?
I mean, absolutely could, right? At that point in the game, like, that late, that kind of opportunity is one of those things where, like, why are we not just letting the boys play? Why are we? And I'm a Chiefs guy. I like the Chiefs, and I'm a huge fan of Sauce Gardner. But I just look at it and I'm like, why are the refs being attention whores right now? Why do they got to jump in to a game that, if you're worried about, viral moments, you've got them. You've got the Taylor Swift bump. Like, you've got that. Ryan Reynolds is in the building, like you said. Marvel guys. When Sauce Gardner, like, there's a little bit of contact outside of 5 yards, which is the rule, and then he had a little bit of a shirt grab, but very similar to the Super Bowl Philly versus Kansas City as well, where it's like, why aren't we just letting the boys play in these types of situations? To me, it is wild, and it's all, even, and when I was at the prime of my career was like, why are the refs trying to be a part of this right now? Like, you're basically here as guidance counselors. Like, let us play.
Attention whores, refs, Taylor Lewan. That's a nice send. Good little bite.
Take that one.
What do you make of Zach Wilson? Because now I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm not super convinced. I got to see him do it again to say that he turned a corner. What stuck out to you from that gives you any optimism, or just hit me with some reality that he's not him?
No, I don't think there's a level of saying he's him, he's not him. Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback? Probably not. But like, this is how you know the resiliency of an individual is taking when they're in adverse situations like he has been, right? Everybody counted him out. He's like off season during OTAs is like, whoever comes in here, I'm giving them hell every single day. Well, buddy, it's Aaron Rodgers. And then Aaron Rodgers chirps you with a funny little chirp. Hey, you haven't given me hell at all. He's been counted out since the minute, there was a viral video of him at the draft and he's taking pictures and his eyes are all big. Like he's been hated on. Jets fans are hating on him. The whole National Football League is hating on him because of all the promise of the New York Jets going into the season. And he had the ability to stand toe-to-toe with the defending Super Bowl champs. So I think he deserves flowers. Who I think needs to get, tested right now is Rodney Harrison. That was wild. Am I right? Like,
Tell me.
Sitting there with Chris Jones, who, by the way, I need to give some flowers to Chris Jones. I am a big fan of that man, both on the field and off the field. He's a great individual, and he handled that situation perfectly. But like we kind of talked about before, like Taylor Swift has brought such a wild amount of eyes to the National Football League, that already gets so many eyes week in and week out. Like, Rodney, what are we doing trying to get more clicks? Like, what? Like, why? I know that's the game and that we're all inevitably playing is like, how can we get somebody to say something so national media talks about whatever's going on, busting with the boys? Like, we would love for that stuff to happen. However, like the baiting and being like, hey, isn't he trash? I'd be watching that film saying he's garbage. Like, brother, you had an amazing career. Everywhere you walk in the football world, people tip the cap to you and they respect you. But like, we should not be ever taking down a guy like that. He's literally a kid. He's a child. He's 23, 24 years old. I don't know. By BYU, he might be 60. I don't know, but because they go on their trips. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see the reason. Like, you kind of look at it and you walk away from the situation going, what? Why?
It felt
why would you do
personal.
that?
And then everybody, let's play a little clip. We have it here. It felt personal.
Was Zach better tonight than what you anticipated he would be watching him on tape? And you could be honest.
Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, we knew it was going to be a battle. He's continued to get better week in and week out, and he's continued to lead week in and week out.
But watching that tape, man, you got to look at this dude and say, oh, he is garbage. Like, we should really tear him apart.
Earlier, like I said, Zach Wilson is special, man. You just got to give the guy time. You know what I mean?
Wait. Did you say Zach Wilson is special?
Yeah.
I think he had a special night, but I don't think he's special.
Jack and Tony are like, what is happening? It just felt really, it was, in your opinion, obviously it was crossing a line. But that might work well in that Jets locker room that we're hearing. The Jets defense is, they're not happy. Go make a move at quarterback. Like, we can have opinions on our quarterback. You can't do that. That might work in their favor in a weird way, huh?
Yeah, again, you look at the, I think last week there's like a video of you see Garrett Wilson. He's walking on the sideline saying like, he can't make the throw. Or it looks like they're like reading his lips saying stuff like that. You're like, dang, like these Jets are really falling apart, aren't they? And then they play the Chiefs the way they did. For Rodney, it's like, and this is so cliche, and I know you're going to hate it, but like, people need to put into perspective how hard it is to get to the NFL alone. So to say the word special, it's like, the scale we're using, is he special as far as like a top tier quarterback in the NFL right now? No, like the statistics show that it's a consensus. Like, he's not special in that way, but he made it to the NFL and he's doing the best he can. And he, besides, the obvious off the field stuff we saw from his personal life this offseason that we're not going to get into, like he's kept his nose clean, and he's done a great job, and he seems like he handled himself really well on Hard Knocks. And so I don't get the shot. I do not understand it.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
It's pretty lame.
Yeah, it is. Wow. Tell us how you really feel, Taylor.
It is, dude.
Yeah, I think, and I think every player sort of has been echoing that online. So you said your piece, and I do think that I love how much you said about Chris Jones and how well he handled that. After, like once you ask the question, to keep following up like that's a little a little tough. But he had it in his head. I mean, Rodney was saying this kind of stuff before the game. He was saying he was missing wide open guys in pregame warmup. So there was sort of like a story that he had built that he wanted maybe validated. I don't know. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Miami game, right? So Miami's offense comes out, the 70-point situation, whatever, and then this time the Bills' defense, and I guess our guy McDermott's aggressive defensive play calling sort of worked. What did you see here? Because a lot of people were calling this offense unstoppable.
Yeah, it seems like just two safeties that played a really good football game and guys that stayed in their gaps and just stayed like that was Patriot style defense where it's like guys are doing exactly what they're supposed to do and not trying to do too much in a big game. They handled that well. I think the Dolphins are going to be totally fine. I think I was extremely high on them on the Slips and Picks show that we do on Bustin' with the Boys. I actually picked Miami at +2.5. Obviously, that got buried. That was a tough one, but we're going to come back this week. And then you look at Josh, dude. It's like every year,
oh my God,
we look at him in the beginning of the season. We say this dude's an MVP caliber guy, and he is an MVP caliber guy. And then I think it was like week 1 when Aaron Rodgers gets hurt and the Jets still end up beating the Bills. Everyone's like, they're dead. It's over. It's no longer them. It's, it's the Bengals and it's the Chiefs. And we saw how the Bengals are doing. My boys at Tennessee. Way to go, boys. But I think Miami's going to be fine. The thing that worries me about Miami, because I think they're going to score a whole lot of points. And when they play the Bills again, it's going to be a much better game offensively. But the defensive statistics you showed in the beginning of your show are nerve-wracking. Right? It's like SEC football. It's like Ole Miss versus LSU this past week. Like both teams can score 100 points in an instance. So I do worry about Miami from a defensive perspective. Obviously, getting Ramsey back would be nice, but is one guy going to make that big of a change? He has that talent, but does it actually happen? I don't know.
Are the Bills the best team in the NFL right now? If you have Josh Allen looking like that, you got Von Miller coming back.
They have. I'm trying to just.
You can't say Bengals. We'll get to that in a second. The Chiefs.
No,
the Chiefs played
definitely
down.
cannot say Bengals.
Who's San
Chiefs
Francisco?
Played down. Yeah, I would say San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco, and then I feel like Philly, the way their game went with the Commanders, people are like kind of talking them out of it. But we went into this season, everybody's saying Philly and the 49ers are two best put together teams in the NFL, and they still are, and their records reflect that in a big way. But dude, Bills are contenders, and Bills Mafia should be hyped up too. And I know every year, like literally in the middle of October, all like, hey, Bills, am I right? And then it kind of falls off. But if I'm Bills Mafia, I'm getting the mustard out, buddy. I'm tailgating all week. I'm getting ready for that thing because it seems like they got it, dude.
They do got it.
They've got it.
You know who doesn't got it? The Bengals. And I'm trying not to. I don't want to play the blame game, but at a certain point, like, is Joe Burrow just the best quarterback that ever was, and he masks all the deficiencies the entire time? And like is he exposing Zach Taylor? I mean, Bengals fans right now are of an unhinged variety. They are like, fire Zach Taylor. I know how you feel about firing coaches, but I mean, ultimately, it's on him how the way things go. Jamar Chase out there. Listen to Jamar Chase after the game. We're going to play it again.
Yeah.
We got it? Hold on. Do we have it? Re-rack that. If we can. No? All right, here we go.
I'm always open. Excuse my profanity. I'm sorry.
So he's not happy. Burrow's hurt. Obviously, the offensive line not doing him any favors. The defense isn't like, okay, we got this. You guys are going to suck for the next couple weeks. Maybe the bye week will help them in that. They don't got it. Now they're 1-3. If you're calling the shots, what are you doing with Joe Burrow?
I mean, I'm not necessarily sure what can you do other than, he's got a calf, and I have no idea the severity of a calf. Is it a contusion? Is it a pull? Is it actually an Achilles? I don't know, but it seems like that is a lot to be affecting that kind of gameplay. Zach Taylor, it'd be ridiculous to fire that guy right now. And I know I've kept that same thing this season, but that'd be an absolutely ridiculous thing. I don't know what their issue is. I don't know what the problem is. It seemed like the first drive of that game against Tennessee, it's like they drove, and Joe Mixon was running the ball. He's averaging like 5 yards per carry, easy. They ran it 5 times, threw it 5 times, and they couldn't get it in the end zone. And that's against a Tennessee defense that's statistically pretty good. And so I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think Joe's fantastic. I think obviously he is one of the best wide receiving core. His offensive line.
Here's my question. Do you bench Joe? This is the worst offense in the National Football. With Joe Burrow, okay, not bench him. Let him rest. Not bench, obviously. Don't Mac Jones him. That's not what I'm talking about. 32nd ranked offense right now, both scoring in total yards. All the problems, the play calling, third down, O-line, you got to start looking at not who's to blame, but who's going to step up. And it does come down to coaching. Zach Taylor, where are you? This roster has so much talent. You got to find a way. And a full-strength Burrow must be the best quarterback that ever existed to have this many issues still going on. The Packers went to 2 NFC title games with Rodgers playing on a wobbly calf, pull, strain, whatever it is. He's allegedly, reportedly helping Joe Burrow with how can I still will my team to being a contender. We saw the Pats have an 11-5 season with Matt Castle. The problem for me is how could you not have had a better backup situation? How are we in this situation where we have to roll Joe Burrow out there? I'm seriously considering I wonder if the conversation is happening, let's rest Joe Burrow for 2 weeks, then you get the bye, then you get him back healthier and try to make a run because that's almost all you can do right now.
Yeah, but then you lose both those games. You start the season 1-5, and then it's like now you're playing catch up. You got to win all of them because you're in the AFC North, and the AFC is the strongest division out of the 2 divisions. I think it's the play calling. If there's going to be an issue, because if you watch the Titans game, they ran the ball effectively, and they could have done that the entire game if they wanted to. Obviously, Vrabel's going to make adjustments here and there, but I mean, they're playing a bunch of guys off the whole time. They're playing deep. They're not threatened by the run.
Okay.
And Joe Mixon was balling out there. Literally, the offensive line was winning the line of scrimmage early in that game, which is very unlike the Tennessee Titans. And you could have just kept running that. The minute they start bringing guys low in the box, as if Derrick Henry's playing against them, you just go and you start doing a couple play actions and getting that mid-range throwing going. But it's like, you can't, what's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And that is what seems like Zach Taylor is doing with his play calling. Like if Joe's not 100%, then take it out of his hands and let the players around him because you've got stallions around you, brother. You've got people that can play a good ball.
So, and Zach Taylor, one thing you can say, he abandons the run probably a little too early. It's just something that he's done and always done. So they need to find a way. But you even saying they lose those 2 games, if the Bengals can't beat the Cardinals without Joe Burrow, what does that say about the Bengals? What does it say about Zach Taylor? What does it say about how freaking good Joe Burrow? That's where I am as a fan. I'm like, no, rest Joe Burrow and go beat the snot out of the Cardinals and let's get him rest.
The
if
Cardinals
he had a better backup, we'd be in business. That's what I think.
Yeah. To me, the Cardinals are like gnats, and that's not a disrespectful thing. I refer to myself as a gnat when I played. It's like you're never the Cardinals. Are they the best team? No. Is their talent good? No. But you got to kill them every week. They're not just going to roll over and die. They're not a playoff contending team. But you saw the Dallas Cowboys, who I've, for whatever reason, been fond of on this show. And they looked terrible against them 2 weeks ago. So it's like one of those any given Sunday type things. And you're right. If they had a better backup, that'd be great. But that is, that's the world we're living in. You pay a left tackle a whole bunch of money. You pay Joe Burrow a whole bunch of money. There's going to be some holes in different areas. And that's the scary thing if you're a Bengals fan right now, is you need to realize, the minute you pay a quarterback the amount of money you pay Joe Burrow, you are now on a ticking time bomb to when is this golden era going to blow up? Unless it turns into a Tom Brady situation where you take a whole bunch less money. You have to go win now. You've got to go win now because Jamar Chase is coming up. T. Higgins didn't get paid. The offensive line is always a revolving door every single year. Who knows what's going to happen with the defense? There's always, you don't have time on your side in the NFL. You don't have it, and you have the team to win now. So something has to change, and looks in the mirror need to happen, probably in the coaching staff.
I want to ask you one more. Do you have time to just talk Cowboys really quick before we have to let you go?
I can talk about whatever you want. Absolutely.
You're officially, my friend. You're officially on the gosh darn roller coaster with this team. They bounced back in a big way. They beat the Pats 38-3. Bill Belichick gets his worst loss ever. Bill benches Mac Jones. He throws 150 yards. He's over. It's zappy time. No turnovers. The Cowboys defense is good. We still haven't seen what we're hoping for when Bill O'Brien took over as OC, of course, up there with New England. But what do you make of the Cowboys roller coaster? Where are you at?
That's a good question. Because it is one of those things, speaking both sides of my mouth, the Cardinals lost, you're like, yo, what are you guys doing? Are you guys good or not good? What's the deal? But then you go against the Pats in in New England where their defense statistically always plays really good, and you dummy them the way they did. Mac Jones takes care of the ball horribly. There's pick sixes, there's fumbles in the, backed up. It's just really, really bad. I think the jury's still out in the Cowboys, especially in the NFC East. The jury's still out because the NFC East, dude, is so good. Like we saw the Commanders take the Eagles to overtime.
They got the Niners on Sunday.
I know. I think the Niners win that game.
You do?
Yes. Yeah, I think the Niners. I'm riding the Niners till they lose. And then I'll come on the show and be like, hey, we finally lost. Thank God. I can start to think logically. But I think the Niners right now, in my mind, they're going 17-0.
So it's Niners, it's Bills, and then it's somewhere down here is Zach Wilson and company.
Yeah.
Okay, tonight, who you got? Seahawks at Giants. And we got to let you go because I know you got lots going on with us with the boys.
Yeah, I got Seahawks plus 1.5. I think that probably changed to a pick 'em, but I got Seahawks. I think Geno Smith's been doing some nice stuff out there, and I think the boys are going to win it.
And everybody go to Twitter and tell Taylor Lewan whether or not you think Sean Payton's a good coach. Because I asked you this last week. You said he is.
Yeah, but you know what? Then you always go back to the film, Kay. You go back to the film and you've watched what you said and you say, okay, what did I mean when I said that? And you go look at it, it's like, had a hell of a quarterback for a long time, didn't he?
Did he fall off? Are you telling me he fell off?
I don't know. I can't really say that. They did have a massive comeback. Could have actually just changed the whole trajectory of their season. I am comfortable saying the Bears are dead. I'm also comfortable in saying CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is the greatest quarterback to ever come out of Ohio State ever. That's not saying a whole lot.
Pew, pew.
That's not saying a whole lot at all.
He is killing it. He's killing it right now. All right, we love it. Guys, check out Bussin' with the Boys. I'm going to need to hear more on this Sean Payton film watching after this because they did pull it off. But I'm glad, water is wet, the sky is blue, and the Bears are dead. Got it. Death taxes and the Bears are dead in the NFL season. All right, we appreciate you, Taylor. Thanks for taking some extra time to talk about your Cowboys ups and downs. We'll be tracking that and the other storylines after this break. We're going to give out some attaboys. Always love hanging out with our favorite Michigan alum with always a little pew-pew, a little something for the Ohio State. We'll be back. LeBron James took to Twitter while he was watching the Niners take care of business against the Cardinals. CMC, you're absolutely ridiculous. My goodness, what did he have, 19 touchdowns? McCaffrey finished with 7 grabs, 71, 4 total touchdowns. My goodness, 3 coming on the ground, 1 receiving. Yep, he's looking like a monster. I wonder if anybody thought he was like the best midseason addition of all time. I wonder who was saying that. Yeah, Niners move to undefeated 4-0. Taylor says they're the best team in the NFL. Taylor Swift, of course, thinks that's still the Chiefs, even though they almost lost to the Jets last night. All right, time for some atta-boys, atta-babies. Here it goes. Who had great performances? Brock Purdy. Yeah, enough about CMC. He was nearly perfect. 20 of 21 passing against the Cardinals. 95.2% completion percentage. That breaks Steve Young's 33-year-old franchise record. People can poke holes in his game all they want, but what do we think, Gronk? What do we think of this performance?
Attaboy, attababy.
Attaboy! Attababy, shattering records. This is unbelievable. All right, our next attaboy we're dishing out, it's going to go to 2 guys, okay? Jags teammates Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker. Early morning here. They're playing in London. Jacksonville has a 23-7 win over the Falcons. Josh Allen got 3 sacks on the day. What did you think of that? Darius Butler? Attababy!
Attaboy.
Attaboy! How about Trayvon Walker? He added one of his own and had the key pressure on Desmond Ridder to force an incompletion on 4th down, put the game away. Both guys stepped up big. Attababy! A turning point for last year's #1 overall pick in Walker, by the way. Either way, Josh and Trayvon, awesome job. Final attaboy. Attababy! Attababy goes to the big boy, Khalil Mack. 6 sacks, leading LA to a 24-17 win. That's your teammate, Keenan Allen. What'd you think?
Attaboy, man. Attago.
All right. GG. He finished 1 sack short of Derek Thomas's all-time NFL record. That was insane. As dominant as you can expect from a juggernaut like him. And this was on the night where the offense didn't play super well. No offense to Keenan. Mack and the Chargers defense, they finally stepped up in a major way. LA's back at 2-2. So we love to see it. All right. By the way, everybody, FanDuel's new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Just download the app. You can enjoy the NFL season with an offer that you don't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL and America's #1 sports book. We've got another big game tonight, guys. Giants hosting the Seahawks. I imagine it's going to feel like a playoff atmosphere in that building. Giants fans know they need this one. They're at 1-3. It's going to put them in a really tough spot going forward. As a show, we of course love this is sort of like the Up and Adams Bowl. We love the Seahawks and their rookies, and we are obsessed with Daniel Jones getting wins, so he's more comfortable on our show when he comes on. That's the name of the game here. If the Giants are going to beat Seattle, they're going to have to do it shorthanded. Andrew Thomas, he's been ruled out, so we're still waiting to hear about Saquon's status. I tried to get something out of Daniel Jones last week. I mean, so let's see if we can read into this. They have all those. Oh, let's take a look. Don't make any face if Saquon's playing. He's not playing?
I don't know. He's working hard to get back.
Don't tell me you don't know. You know.
I really don't. It's Tuesday, right? We played Monday. It's a long way away.
Daniel, don't smile if Saquon Barkley is suiting up.
I'm not gonna. Come on now.
You know, I can't read into that at all. We need the Swifties. Can we put that out on Twitter? Swifties, help us with this situation. We've got hours, we've got lineups to set, we have thoughts about this game. It's at MetLife. You know the innards of the stadium. You all have your like Home Alone schematics of like what goes on at MetLife. Where is Saquon? How is he? Help us. Read into that and figure it out. We can tell you, Swifties, that he's listed as doubtful. Art Stapleton, friend of the show, he's saying it's a Hail Mary for him to suit up tonight. Hate hearing that. And that news, of course, shifts the odds here. If you want to have some fun over at FanDuel Sportsbook, the Giants now underdogs in their own building, once again making it the 12th time in Daniel Jones' soon-to-be 13 primetime games that will be playing under the bright lights as an underdog. So as was discussed and blown out of proportion all week, you know, he's 1-11 in all these primetime situations, but this is a huge opportunity tonight to start changing the narrative and steady the ship for the Giants season. All right, we'll be back. We've done Attaboys. You've got more games to get to. Bears, I watched this game drinking an old style. R.I.P. Chicago. I was at O'Hare. It was brutal and hilarious. We'll be back. Back on Up and Adams, did Taylor Lewan call the refs attention whores? He did. Let's stop making it about me. They're attention whores with that sauce. But you didn't say that cost them the game.
No.
But that was my favorite Taylor appearance by far. Things are getting spooky here in October. Happy October, everybody. Thanks for subscribing to our YouTube page. We've got lots of fun. Tomorrow we'll have Debo on the show. Later this week we will have Daniel Jones. A little programming note, we're going to move his interview since they play on Monday night. I want him to get a nice day's rest tomorrow, of course, so we're going to work out an interview. Maybe we'll have him on Wednesday's show. I think Paul Verzi is joining us later this week. Anyone else? Do we have any other guests that we have booked? I'm trying to think. We have other guests on Wednesday. Oh, Joe Poznanski's going to get us set for, I love him, excellent writer. He'll get us set for the MLB playoffs. Ted Karras is going to pop by. He's doing some awesome stuff, and we'll get some answers on how to fix those Bengals from him. Matt Forte, I believe, is joining the program. A spicy Matt Forte when all this stuff is going on with Justin Fields, so I can't wait to hear him after last week's game. One of my favorite players ever. We once went canoeing in Lake Michigan. Yeah, and down the Chicago River together. It was both disgusting and amazing. I should pull some footage.
I can't wait.
I think I have some footage.
I would love
Ask
that.
Matt Hamilton. All right, we're going to go through some of these other games, and you guys, I'm pulling the chat on over. So here's your chat. I'm seeing your comments. Let me know how you guys are thinking after all of that. The word moonshine is the first thing I saw. Well, happy Monday to you. Should I go out for the Giants game? Sure, Mark. Do live your life. Yes, Forte will be on the show, I believe, on Friday to get us set for Week 5. We've got that game tonight. Go have fun over at FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm going to start with some of the little news and notes here. Broncos. What a comeback against the Bears. Trailing 28-7 late in the third. Broncos rattle off 24 unanswered points, and they come away with the win. Russell Wilson threw 3 touchdown passes on the day. We're going to show it here. This is my favorite one. A gorgeous throw to Marvin Mims to set up the game-winning field goal. And this is the Broncos season on the brink of absolute disaster. You cannot come back from this. Champagne used to play for the Bears. That's his hometown team. It's where he suited up as quarterback before he was even a coach. But we got a taste of vintage Russ, people, and it was truly beautiful. And I loved what we heard from friend of the show, Cortland Sutton, after the game.
Watching him battle and watching him, do what he always does, having the character and the heart that he has, it's amazing and it's contagious, and you can see it bleeding out into the rest of the team. We go down and score and, get 14 points, and, he comes to the sideline. It's like, they know we're coming back. They know we're coming back. And, to hear that, I'm pretty sure everybody on the sideline, they believed it, but to, have our quarterback, our guy, come to the sideline and let it be known, still down 14 points, that we're in this. We still got a chance. I think it really sparked something for all of us. And, I just love 3, man. He's great people, man. That's my dog.
Are you guys understanding how big that is? How huge that is? Not even just to see it, but to hear his words. He's missing spark. I'm looking at the chat. Marvin Mims' future is bright. Yeah, it's amazing how great he is. Is Russ back? I don't know, maybe. You heard Taylor Lewan. This is the thing that could turn around their entire trajectory of their season, the weight being lifted. And off of Russ specifically, maybe this gets them going headed into next week. They got the Jets on the docket. Big game. We'll see. The Bears side of this one, I mean, is there a silver lining for Chicago? I don't know. I'm sort of out. But I will say there's only 2 winless teams left in the NFL, the Bears and the Panthers. So you remember who has Carolina's first-round pick, right? That's right. Right now, Chicago would own the top 2 picks in the draft. That is buzzing with elite talent, okay? Especially top-heavy. So if they do have to burn the entire thing down, Dracarys, we get it, which is, by the way, starting to seem like they should. At least it would be my suggestion. They're going to be able to pick up some major foundational pieces. For now, it's woof. And I watched this game at O'Hare, and it was so funny to watch these Bears fans just waiting for their flights. They're delayed, they're pissed. They're spending $9 a beer. Who loves that? Nobody likes that. They're at the Harry Carey bar, Cubs stuff everywhere, whatever. And there's just it's just like peacocks. Just we're about to beat the Broncos, and we got Justin Fields is the real. And then it happens, and there's the despondence. There's the absolute, undeniable, I don't even know the dejectedness. That it was something special to watch, especially in that miserable sort of place that is O'Hare. It was unbelievable. Okay, Cleveland, the Browns. They might not have had their starting quarterback on the field, but we talked about it a lot going into this week. Number 1 ranked defense. Okay, they were out there, and Baltimore ran right through them for 28-3. Trust me, the Ravens don't want to hear about your injuries as an excuse with what they've been through in the past couple of years, and the fact that they've played the majority of these first 4 weeks without 7 of their starters. Lamar,
hat tip to you. Atta baby, brilliant, tossing 2 touchdown passes, running in another 2, getting this Browns defense. I mean, no one's been able to get through this Browns defense. Lamar could, and even with all these injuries, they're atop the North. They're the clear favorites to win the division. If you look at FanDuel Sportsbook, they're tied for the best record in the AFC through the quarter pole of the 2023 season. This is amazing. So this is me looking at the Bengals like, yeah, your quarterback's hurt, sure. They've got so many injuries, they're somehow making it happen. Make it happen. You got to figure it out and adjust your game plan. When it comes to this stuff, why are we doing that? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to go and talk about C.J. Stroud now, guys. Steelers-Texans. Steelers are the other woeful story in the AFC North, of course. But you heard Taylor Lewan say C.J. Stroud, the best quarterback to come out of Ohio State. He was tweeting about it funnily, of course, Mr. Michigan man. But we have like a list of like who we want to come on the show that we give out to teams. C.J. Stroud was at the top of my list. First name I riddled off this morning, if we could somehow get him, because he was awesome. He threw for 305, 2 scores on the day, picked apart the Steelers' defense. Kenny Pickett, he's out of the game, and hopefully he's okay. The story of the game is about Houston dominating more than anything else. And I loved also hearing what C.J. Stroud had to say when he was asked about the Steelers fans in the building.
The Steelers fan came and they showed out today in our stadium, and we sent them home. And I think our fans felt the energy, like, man, we ain't playing today, like from the get-go. So I just want to say, man, like we're gonna keep fighting every day, just so y'all can walk around with that swag.
I want to talk to him. I'm such a big fan of him. I love hearing that confidence out of a young quarterback. Nobody's talking about you. We're talking about you. Okay, and by the way, he's vaulted himself to the forefront of the Offensive Rookie of the Year conversation. Take a look at this, FanDuel Sportsbook. And if he can keep playing like this and keep Houston relevant deep into the season, who's going to take it home over him? I love Puka. I love Bijan, sure, but he would take it home if he keeps that going. I will say, I don't know, maybe we can get into a little, let's get into a little Baker here, just for a second here, before we leave for the day. And we'll be back tomorrow, of course, with Debo. Derek Carr, valiant effort, of course. Cam Jordan tweeting, we got to get better, all of that. But if you look at what Baker pulled off in the Dome, he loses Mike Evans to a hamstring injury, and he continues to make plays, right? He scores 3 touchdowns. This is the next thing. We're at the next thing. Okay. He has just an amazing resurgence in Tampa, and it's been awesome to watch, right? He has led the Bucs to first place in the NFC South. If you look at the odds over at FanDuel Sportsbook, if we have the odds right here, the Bucs are at the top of the standings, but they still have the Saints, though, as favorites to take home the crown. Don't tell Baker, right? This is the last thing he needs, is another chip on the shoulder to fuel him. So it's very interesting to see how that's all working out. We're going to see you guys tomorrow with Debo. Enjoy tonight. Daniel Jones, good luck!